Welcome back to the channel, and today we'll be discussing how much your past academics, aka your class 10th and class 12th board exam marks, affect your entry into prestigious BBA and IPM colleges across India. So, as you all have done your 10th by now, and you're either going to give your 10th boards this year or you're already done with that. Many people will tell you to just focus on the entrance exams and they will say that just the 10th and 12th are just a passing criteria and don't focus on that this much. But if you're going into the management stream in India, I can tell you that they are very important. Let's begin by taking a look at the IPM programs across India and how they take into consideration your class 10 and class 12 marks. First of all, let's move to IIM Indore. There is a great news for you all. IIM Indore does not take into consideration class 12 and class 12 marks. As of now, there is no criteria in their selection procedure, but there is a minimum criteria of 60% marks in both class 10 and class 12. But there is a consideration and relaxation given to SC/ST and PWD students there. Moving on to the other IIM, that is IIM Ranchi. IIM Ranchi, for the initial screening, for which they call the students for interview, there is no component for any other thing except the IPMAT Indore test scores. So you're safe there. But when they make their final list, that is the CML, the consolidated merit list, in there they have a 20% weightage to your past academics. And you can refer to this table to see how they allocate those marks to you. And the 60% criteria still remains there. Now, let's talk about IIM Rohtak. IIM Rohtak conducts its own test, IPMAT Rohtak. And for the final list that they create for the selections, it is a list comprising of your IPMAT Rohtak test scores, then your past academics, and also your interview scores. But same as IIM Ranchi, for the initial screening for the interviews, there is no component other than the scores. It is just the scores of your test. You clear the cutoff and you can appear for the interviews. But the 60% criteria to be eligible for these programs still remains here. Moving on to the last two IIMs offering IPM programs, which are IIM Bodh Gaya and IIM Jammu. They both solely focus on GIPMAT scores, with IIM Jammu giving a bit of weightage to the gender diversity, which is 5%. Also, talking about IFT. IFT also has sole weightage to IPMAT Indore tests and a bit of gender diversity as of now also. Now talking about the non-IIMs, we can talk about NMIMS and Symbiosis. Both do not have any criteria for a past academics, and also the minimum criteria for 10th and 12th board exam marks here is just 50%. But as you all might know that IIFT and NMIMS have a barrier for non-math students. So in NMIMS, if you don't have maths or stats in your plus 2, then you can't join. And the same goes for IIFT. You need maths or business maths to join them. Okay, after all this analysis, we have two categories of people in front of us. One with good academics and the other definitely with bad. Now talking about, or a piece of advice for people with good academics is that don't be too happy. When you go for an interview, they will still check your academic clarity, how thorough you are with your concepts there as well. And the higher the percentage you have, maybe the higher difficulty of questions you will have. Piece of advice for droppers who are appearing for this year is that, go through your plus 2 course, make at least one subject in detail, because specifically IIM Indore asks a lot of questions about your academic curriculum. Now, moving on to people with bad academics. What you can do is tell what you have done in time where you actually didn't perform well in academics. You must have done something else. Talk about that in the interview. Try to sway the interview in that direction. And especially if you have time, if you're still in class 12, you're going to give your boards exam this year, try to develop at least one skill which can differentiate you from the crowd. And if you have that, you're good to go. We talked about IIM Indore, we talked about Rohtak, Ranchi, Jammu, Bodh Gaya, and even other colleges as well. And out of those, only two considered, your past academics as something to select you in their program. It might seem less, but remember, in the beginning, I told you that these marks matter, and they matter a lot. The thing is, you're just looking at half side of the picture. The other side is, I'll tell you. So what happens in colleges like IIM Rohtak, IIM Ranchi, Jammu, Bodh Gaya and others, around 80 to 90% students appear for CAT in their third year, which means they aim for better colleges. Maybe the Blackie IIMs, the IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, IIM Lucknow, IIM Calcutta. And there are more than 3 lakh applications. The competition increases and I think most of them consider class 10th and class 12th marks as important, and they give a certain weightage to it. The competition increases way too much, and then these marks play a huge role. If you want me to make a video on these things, on how these Blackie ions give weightage to these marks, you can let me know in the comment section. Until then, goodbye.